You're listening to Artistic Finance, Show 103. On today's show, we celebrate Father's Day. Today is basically a comedy show. We have two surprise guests here to discuss the extreme measures they've taken to take advantage of the Starbucks reward program. We discuss sharing accounts to maximize Starbucks points, to use refillable cups or not, and clipping coupons, the way to get rewards before the internet even existed. We also touch on some important family traits that show how financial behavior is a mix of nature versus nurture. Without further ado, let's get to the show.
You're listening to Artistic Finance Podcast, where your host, Ethan Steimel, interviews successful artists, leaders, and investors to help educate and inspire artists to grow their wealth.
Before we get to today's show, I have a couple things to share. So if you want to skip right to the interview, jump ahead to minute 8. If you're familiar with the TV show Arrested Development, today's episode is gonna seem like a sketch between wannabe actor Tobias Fumke and actual actor Carl Weathers. But I assure you, today's show is not copycatted, it's not fiction, it is unscripted reality. Any similarities between today's guests and actual people is because these are the real people, and no names have been changed to protect the innocent. If you are a representative of Starbucks, you can absolutely use today's episode as evidence to ban these hackers from the Star Rewards program. Now, if you're enjoying this podcast and you want to help us out, there are two ways that you can help. The first is to pay our fee for listening. That fee is to tell someone about the show. We are, of course, a free show, and that's intentional because we are one of very few groups that are focusing on financial literacy for artists and freelancers. We're not just talking about the outliers or the successful exceptions. We are talking with real arts industry professionals in the middle of their careers, talking about what they really do to manage their finances. And of course, we also do get money experts on the show, but let me stress again that this content is all free. Yes, you could learn a lot at the Commercial Theater Institute by purchasing their classes. You could join Miata Adoga's Abundance Bound community and learn so much about budgeting, etc. for a monthly fee. And yes, Artistic Finance has bonus material for Patreon patrons, but the majority of our content is 100% free. And even the material on Patreon, I'm more than happy to share with anyone who sends me an email requesting it. All this to say, if you want to help continue the work we're doing, please pay that fee for listening and tell someone about the show. Now, speaking of Patreon content, that is the other way to support us, by becoming a patron. We have a small group of 24 patrons who are kind enough to pledge a monthly amount. This group motivates me to improve the show and has helped us give more than $1,000 to other artists and arts organizations. So to all 24 of you, thank you very much. Now, if you would like to become a patron, you will get weekly bonus episodes, a private podcast feed, and early releases. We certainly welcome any new member to our cohort. Become a patron at patreon.com/artisticfinance. This is our first Father's Day episode. So I recently saw the Broadway play Harry Potter. There's some father-son issues that come up in the second half of the show. With that in mind, and Father's Day coming up, it's time to remember your family. If you have a wonderful relationship with your father, it's a perfect time to remember what a swell fella they are and the sacrifices that they made to get you to where you are. And if you don't have a great relationship with your father, it's still a perfect time to remember that they made sacrifices for you. Being a parent isn't easy. There's no perfect guide to when they should encourage, when they should scold, when to worry, when to push. And remember, anytime you think a movie or story isn't woke, that's because it was written years before it actually got produced. And the same goes for parents. They behave how they learned in the past. And the world we're in now and the world they grew up in are vastly different places. Just because they aren't on TikTok doesn't mean they aren't one of the most important influencers in your life. And by the way, Dad, if you're listening, I love you. Father's Day is a celebration, but it's also a bit hard this year. Here in the United States, we're a country of mass shootings, and that's not news, but as of this recording, May 27th, 2022, the United States has gone through 214 mass shootings just this year. Now, a mass shooting is defined as 4 or more victims, not including the shooter. So that's at least 856 gun deaths in the first half of the year. 27 of those shootings took place at schools. The reason it's on the nation's mind is because in the last 2 weeks, we've lost 19 children at an elementary school in Texas, and we've lost 10 people at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. Now, here on Artistic Finance, we focus on finance. We want to take care of ourselves, our families, and save up for retirement. But it drives me crazy that so many children get bullets shot through them before they even get a chance to earn income and contribute to a retirement account. They're never going to experience that worry of, oh, I don't have enough saved for retirement, or what should I major in to make lots of money, or should I invest in Bitcoin or bonds? They're never going to get that chance. Now, I'm not here to call for gun control. Morality is not hard. Poll after poll shows that Americans of all political leanings want safer gun regulations, and eventually it will happen. If I'm lucky enough to have children, and if I'm lucky enough that they don't get shot while they're at school, I like to think that one of their classes will show them a chart about when gun deaths started to decline in the U.S., and that graph will link the decline to when basic gun control laws went into effect. If you've ever watched the documentary Freakonomics, those researchers linked a drop in violent crime in America to times when federal legislation was enacted. So I'm mentioning this today because my heart goes out to the fathers who are having their first Father's Day after losing a child. And my heart goes out to the children who lost their fathers this year. And another reason this hits a bit hard this year is because my cousin committed suicide a few months ago. Now, my aunt just went through her first Mother's Day after losing her daughter, and now my uncle is going through his first Father's Day without his daughter. So this year especially, hug your father on Father's Day, or whatever day you listen to this. Tell him you love him, because financial freedom is important, but family is more important. In honor of my cousin, who used to exchange puns and dad jokes with me and my sisters, I would like to share one of the dad jokes that she shared with me. It's not really finance related, but it's number related, so close enough. Here it is. A farmer wants to know how many sheep he has in his field, so he asks his border collie to count them. The dog runs into the field, counts them, and runs back to the farmer. The farmer says, "How many?" The dog says, 40. The farmer is surprised and says, "How can there be 40? I only bought 38. The dog says, "I rounded them up." And now let's get to the interview with today's special guests. Welcome and thank you for listening. I'm your host, Ethan Steimel, here with my co-host and wife, Nicole.
Hello, hello.
Now, today's guests come with us from our hometown of St. Charles, Missouri, and they're here for a Father's Day special, none other than Nicole's father and mother, Greg and Arlene Clement.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Now, Greg is a recently retired database administrator for Boeing, which means that he probably has access to supercomputers that are backed with the full funding of the United States military. And so Greg has closely guarded this secret. But today on Artistic Finance, we reveal that he has hacked the Starbucks Rewards program.
Dun, dun, dun.
Before we get to this giant hack, let's get to know them. What is a live event that you like to experience as an audience member or a piece of art that you like?
Let's start with Mom.
Okay. Talking about food. Okay, I would love to go to Reed Drummond's hometown of Pawhuska, Oklahoma. And she's got a store there, and it's a restaurant. You could go in there. You can actually sit and eat. And also, you can take a tour of her lodge on the Drummond Ranch where she films her show.
The Pioneer Woman
the
is the show.
Woman is the Pioneer show. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That, in fact, we talked about maybe driving to see that.
We did.
Down
Okay.
in Pawhuska.
All right. I
Oklahoma.
bet they have a Starbucks somewhere in that town.
We can ask Ree Drummond what she thinks about Starbucks.
Oh,
Does
she
she
might
drink
die.
it?
She might die
I
and
think
say,
they
you
make-
have to do it over a campfire.
Or it could be
for
a
to
guilty
real."
pleasure.
They make their own coffee, concoctions in the restaurant there.
I knew
In
it.
Pawhuska.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Greg, what is the live event that you like to experience?
Well, first, I can neither confirm or deny what Ethan said about bowling. My access to bowling equipment. A live event, I'm not really much of an artsy type person. I do like shows, but I think I'd rather go out to the parks, the national parks, and just kind of
Oh, yes.
and do all that. And like Mount Rushmore, we're talking about doing that. And then we'd like to go out to like the Zion and the Bryce Canyons and stuff like that.
Okay.
Badlands.
Road trips.
Badlands, yeah.
Puerto Rico
Rushmore.
National Park. What's that one? El Yunque.
El Yunque, yeah,
Have you been to El Yunque National Forest?
No. But
We're talking about in the
but when we were in
States.
Hawaii, we took an all-day bus trip, and it was bad. It was like everyone was falling asleep on the
Yeah.
bus, so we
The
decided
road to Hana.
no more of that. That's right.
Yeah, we'll drive ourselves.
That's right. We drive
All right.
ourselves.
All right. Now your financial personalities. Are you good or bad with money?
I think we're
we're
very good with
We're
money,
very
and
good.
actually that kind of works because we both are that way.
Yes.
It's like
Yep.
it's not that you can't afford it, but we always think about, even if it's $1, we think about, do we
Right.
want to spend it or not? Even though it's not,
Exactly.
you could, it's like,
Right.
So we tend to be,
We tend to be frugal.
yeah. I
We
mean,
do tend to be
my
frugal.
whole career, I brought a bag lunch. Nicole would make me a bag lunch when she was living at home, and
Yep.
she put all these little characters on it and
Decorate the
Notes.
brown
notes
bag.
and tell me what I could or couldn't eat. But
Yeah.
yeah, everyone else would buy their lunch. I always brought mine.
Yes, and we never bought coffee years ago. We never did that. I was just never
Yeah, we
thought about
splurge.
it. It was
Yeah.
a splurge for us to buy like
Yeah, we
Starbucks.
never-
We just did. But we chose to do that. We chose to do that because we wanted to save for other things that were important to us. So
Well, we knew we had to save, and like you guys, both of you guys, same thing. Being as young as you guys are, you started saving right away, and a lot of people didn't do that. We decided to put away one salary
Yep.
when we both worked,
Right.
and
Yep.
completely put it away,
Yep.
and save up for a house, and then
Yeah.
after that, whenever we just lived off of one salary,
Yeah.
basically forever.
Right. Okay, going along with that, being frugal. We rarely went out to eat.
But
So
we always believe when you go to buy something, buy the best you can afford, because if you
Right.
go less, you'll end up spending more in the long run. And if
Right.
you really push yourself to get the best you can afford, you'll never regret it.
exactly.
Like the washer and dryer that you bought.
Yes.
That was the good product from
Yes.
the 70s and it lasted.
And the
a long
refrigerator
time. Yep.
that we bought, it still runs.
The original refrigerator we
Yes.
still have.
And I think it's important too that Dad's always very handy with repair work, and he's able to, like he fixed the refrigerator, which we've had over 30 years. He's able to fix the compressor and
Capacitor, that's
capacitor. What?
Same difference.
Starts with a C. So, it was able to save us money instead of just turning around.
But I think
just
that's
not even thinking
important.
about fixing something.
But that's important, though,
Yeah.
when you both are in the same mindset. It's
Right.
very hard when one's a spender and one's a saver.
Yes, that's true.
That can
That's
be
true.
very hard.
Right.
And I can confirm he is a spreadsheet extraordinaire.
Yes.
Everything
Yes.
down to a
Yes.
T.
Okay, that brings up a really good subject. Okay, because when we first got married, we had a budget, and then as time went on, we had a line item for everything. We budgeted for everything, for gas, for this, for that. And years ago, before you used credit cards a lot, we would pay cash. When we go gas up the car, it was with cash, and I only had so much cash that we took out per week. So whatever we spent on gas, and that the rest of that was what we had to work with. So
It's funny,
You know.
now we could kind of deviate from your topic here,
Yeah,
but like
but-
the spreadsheets, when they first
Yeah.
started coming out, we first got our first computer in 85.
yes,
It was
What a time to be alive.
But it was, 85, time to
and
be
you
alive. But
weren't
anyway,
yet.
And I wasn't.
But they had Lotus
Neither was
1, 2,
Ethan.
Lotus 1, 2, 3. That was the original. Well, there's actually Visit Calc, I think, was the original spreadsheet, but we put that together to buy our house.
Yep,
We
yep.
calculated how much we'd get back in tax,
Yeah.
tax refund and mortgage. So we stretched ourselves, and we knew exactly what we could afford
right.
up to the penny.
Right. What a light switch would cost if we added a light switch to a room. If we added
we
an
had it all in
outdoor
there,
light, I mean, everything.
So now when we go back, we say,
calculated.
why didn't we do that? Well, we thought about it, but we
Yeah.
didn't because of this.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Now looking back.
So also I should say that Nicole's parents are visiting us in New York, in case it isn't obvious, in case I didn't say that. Yesterday we were watching old home videos of theirs, and the refrigerator popped up. And they said, oh, wow, this is the refrigerator. But the video was dated 86, which was 2 years before Nicole and I were born.
Yep.
So that refrigerator is still in their house.
Yep.
79 was when we got the refrigerator.
79.
A year after we were married, because we moved into our first house then, so we needed a refrigerator.
So 43-year-old
Right.
refrigerator.
Yeah, and it
It's
works
still-
great. We had it.
But a lot of times, you'll see a lot of people with older refrigerators,
Yeah.
and they built them differently.
And they don't make them like they used to.
You hear
But
them all the
they say-
time, but it is true.
It came
you
in
know.
harvest gold, and so we had it repainted to cream colored. Switched the door from left to right so we could open it, on that. Right
And that's
side.
the second
But
fridge
a lot
that's in
of
the
people have
basement
it.
now.
Yeah, and
so.
it works great, and we use it a lot. But Dad, he fixed the
Compressor.
compressor,
It's fantastic.
condenser.
Capacitor. It was
Flux
it was
capacitor?
it was flux. It was a flux. A
Something
start
in the
capacitor.
fridge.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but just to point out that they have
Yes.
been using spreadsheets
Yes.
since
Yeah,
spreadsheets
that's
true.
were invented.
Yes,
Basically,
yes.
yeah.
And we've always been aware of our finances as far as we've never just randomly spent because we felt like. I mean, everything was really pretty much planned or calculated.
Yeah, we had those categories. We had, whether shopping,
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
what we could put in savings, and the
Yeah.
term is, pay yourself first.
And we always,
you always try to make
put
sure
something
you
into savings.
that you pay yourself
yeah.
first, and you go from there. But
Right.
Yeah, and
So-
an observer to this family, since I am the in-law, outlaw,
in-law.
In love, but sometimes outlawed.
sometimes outlaw. Yeah, you guys are a very disciplined family, like very structured, and I'm not structured. I'm not disciplined.
But I definitely picked up the structured type of mindset from my parents. I would say, Ethan, I think you would agree.
Yeah.
In
No.
this
Yeah.
house,
You're the
I'm
organized,
the organized
one.
one.
I mean,
Very
Very
organized.
very logical.
Nicole is very
logical,
organized.
yeah, our
yes.
apartment is very clean, and then somebody
yes.
accidentally opened up a drawer that belongs to me, and it's just a mess. And Nicole says, "Please shut that
it
door.
gives,
me anxiety."
The one drawer I let Ethan have.
To be fair, I don't have enough space. You don't give me enough space around here, so I have to fit it all into the little.
Plenty of space.
Okay, whatever. All right. So now back to our Starbucks points
Yes,
here.
yes.
You addressed that you may or may not have access to this military database from Boeing.
More on that later.
Yeah, we all have our opinions, and I know the facts. But what is, just to clarify this for anyone listening who might be the CEO of Starbucks or something, what is your affiliation with Starbucks and with Boeing? Just need to clarify that. Are you officially on payroll, etc.?
We're customers of Starbucks.
We're customers of Starbucks. And
Loyal
actually,
customers.
with Boeing, the only thing I have associated with Boeing is I am considered a retiree. I didn't even take the pension. I took the lump sum.
That is actually... So our listeners, probably zero of our listeners have a choice on a pension, and they probably have no choice on the lump sum or taking the pension for life. However, I think that would be a really good subject for an episode
I
or
agree.
something
It is
to
true.
go into that.
And
Yeah.
not all companies do provide that option. In fact, Boeing didn't always do that. And in fact, some people that retired before me didn't have that option. And a lot of people do take the pension because they feel comfortable with the guaranteed
Again, you have
income,
to be
monthly
very
income.
disciplined if you get the lump
Yeah.
sum that you invest it correctly and you pay yourself.
Well,
Whereas
you
with
got to
a
roll it over
pension,
to an IRA.
you
or
don't do that. It's automatically given
because
to you every
otherwise
month.
they'll
Yeah.
tax
And it
you
takes
right off
time
the
to
Yeah.
look at each
Yes,
scenario
yeah.
and decide
bat.
what is best
I had a
for you.
spreadsheet on that. And I
See?
also
Spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I'm deviating again, but I also track what we would have done, how we would do if we hadn't taken the lump sum versus taking a lump sum.
Ooh, can we ask, are you on track? Are you happy with the path you've chosen?
Okay,
It's
now
a weird time to be alive, though.
I
so
have not
hard to
looked
say.
at this week's, but actually, if before this year, it was definitely ahead. Last week, it was still ahead, but we'll see.
We'll check Ben
But
on that.
bottom
in
line
another
is
year.
you got to remember that a lump sum is really annuity, and that's all the pension people are doing. They shove it in an annuity. So
Just we're doing the
you're
annuity
leaving-
ourselves.
If you feel disciplined and you
yeah.
don't take the lump sum, you're
Right.
leaving money on the table.
Exactly. So we're reinvesting it,
Yeah,
ourselves,
that's my opinion
as opposed to the company doing it for us.
Yeah.
So we have control over it.
Yep. And I think a lot of our listeners understand that about annuities and pensions and
Yeah.
stuff, that one is somebody else dealing
Right,
with it, which is
right,
professionals,
right,
bankers
right.
and investors and stuff, you know,
Right.
smart people dealing with it. But you can do it yourself if you're disciplined.
But if you get to that point, even though I'll say you're leaving them on the table, there's not really a bad decision.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're still doing good either way.
Yeah. A lot of people, especially in the arts, they assume that investors and stuff can do better. And in a way, they're right. But I think it's more about the confidence of knowing somebody's monitoring it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether technically you could do better, but just feeling safe and secure.
And that's true. Now, just to kind of clarify, I don't invest I don't do my own investing. We have a
Financial advisor
which
that
we
does
feel
it.
very comfortable with, because
Right.
again, put all your eggs in one basket. That could, someone could. we
So
feel comfortable
I know
with.
we've deviated, but your lump sum you went and put with your financial advisor.
We did.
Yes.
So you're saying that you had access to military Boeing information and you had access to a run-of-the-mill common public financial advisor, and you chose to take it from
The
military
military.
and put it with a regular
Hang
advisor.
on, what do you know that you're not telling us?
What
Wait a
I'm
second.
telling you is that in a large corporation, they usually outsource their
Yeah.
savings, 401 or
Yeah.
whatever you want to put in. That's usually, they rarely. It's so you're not. In fact, ours changed multiple times. So
Yeah.
But,
Right.
but the other thing, and how they said they were very good with money, going back to a lot of artists and stuff,
Yeah.
it's just not knowing about money. So sometimes it is just easier to hand it over to someone else. But
Yeah.
if you are able to become educated and understand, and then you can look, then you might decide, oh, actually, this is better for me. So
Right.
got to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
better about, educating people on these
Yeah, and I do feel
scenarios.
no, and that's good too. But I think the savings is important to keep a little bit back for savings every week, or just every paycheck. We always put some away into savings, even if it was just a small amount. But to get into that practice, doing that, it makes it easier than down the road.
it's a different perspective too. Not to try to say age makes a difference, but when you're younger, it's much easier to feel pressured, so to speak, to buy something that you probably don't need. Looking back, we can say, well, that's easier. It's easier to do, but it's not always easy. It does take a discipline.
And
But-
keeping up with the Joneses, right? Everyone
It's
wants
very easy.
to,
You would see people,
be like other people.
You do say that, but I never felt like just because our neighbors had a new car that we had to get a new car. Yeah, well, yes, it would have been nice to have a new car, but on the other hand, I knew that we were doing other things, like with
Well, we
our
put it,
family. That was more important to me than having like a new car. Like I
They
gave
did have
that,
a nice car.
Like I
The
gave that
Viper.
up so we could.
did.
They did have a nice
Next door,
bike.
Yeah.
Today it'd be a Tesla. They have a Tesla.
That's right. The equivalent of a Tesla in
Yeah, so
1990
It's
something.
so what are your goals and your values with your family? What do you want to achieve? And that really, I think, has a big impact on what you save for and how you save. I don't know. Like we always told, you girls,
it is- I think
other
it's-
people do things, this way. This is our family, and
But it's
you know,
harder when you're younger and you
is
don't
how we
have
do
you
things.
can't look backwards. It's like
Yeah.
you try to compare every year of your career every year, and it's very hard when you only have 1 or 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
You got to look at over time. Some years you're not going to do so hot. Some
Right.
years are going to be better, and overall they should average out
averages
as
out.
being good.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
But it is a lifestyle, and a choice.
Trying to get back on track.
No, not really, because I think this is all valuable conversation. And
For
actually,
finance, yeah.
yeah, and it's interesting because these are themes that come up over and over again.
When I listen to
Yeah.
your podcast, I
And,
do.
I mean, the goals, I think that's the hardest thing because, like, when Nicole and I met with a financial advisor, it was like, well, what are your goals? And it's like, do you want to have a kid? Do you want to give?
Right.
One of the something they said that I thought was ridiculous was they said, do you want to give back to your college? And we were like, what?
No.
Why would we ever want to do that? but they're like, what is the thing that makes you tick?
Makes
what
you think about,
what's the thing that you want to,
is important to you.
Because everyone knows, think of yourself in 30, 40, 50 years, and what do you want to be? But like, that's a mythical thing. It's like, no, really, what do you care about? And I think that's the hardest thing, is knowing what
and
you
it will
want.
change.
It does change.
It can change.
It
It's
changes
really hard.
as you mature and grow. And
But another thing Arlene said, which was a recurring theme too, is it's really important to save for yourself.
Yes.
Putting it in an annuity, a pension, or whatever is one thing, but the discipline of saving it for yourself, no matter what, every time, making sure you're doing that. And back on episode 101 with Cheryl Polankas, she's self-described as, a mess with finances, but she really isn't. And her piece of advice, the one thing she said was, make sure you're saving for yourself. It's like all these things are important, but I mean, if you're not saving for yourself, then you got nothing. If you have nothing to play with, then you have nothing. So it's like, even, it's a scalability thing. Just saving a percentage of whatever you have is really important.
Well, like you stress on a lot of your podcasts, and it's hard to understand with the miracle of compounding interest. It's like, $5, you don't think over 30, 40 years, $5 a week or whatever. It's amazing what that will add up to. I mean, you, again, take a spreadsheet and you can have the amortization schedules and you can figure it out, and it looks unrealistic. I mean, paying off our mortgage,
we did.
I said, okay, if I pay this much, if I pay double, which we were able to do at times, it's like, how much interest am I saving? And you can
Thousands.
save $100,000 in interest. So
we paid off our house, earlier.
And I know a lot of people can do that, but
yeah.
it's like it is amazing. And then you put that money in something else, and it does really amazing how it grows. You don't think it.
And that's the discipline. You have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
A lot of people live in the moment and they
Yes.
just can't,
They do. It's
think
hard.
ahead in the future. It is hard, but you have to put yourself there and set yourself up for success. And only you can do that.
Right. Because we've always been, savers, and we are frugal. So now we're at a point, being, retired, we can't afford that cup of coffee. And even so, we're like, we're going to shop around and we're going to get, a
Would you
good
say
price.
use points, would you say?
Yes, getting back to points. And now we can actually look at the points from the credit
Now
card
we have
points.
the backstory of how it became Starbucks
So that's
stars.
we're going to look at that. Absolutely. If you can get free. Sorry.
No, yeah, absolutely. I just want to say, throwing back to previous episodes. So episode 90 with Lap Chi Chu, he talked about that same saving interest on loans, where he had this small student loan that was like $1,000 or something, and he was paying it off over 20 years or something, like $20 a month or something. And then at some point he said, wait, why am I going to pay $3,000 total in interest by doing it this way when I should just try to pay off extra? And eventually he paid it off in several years. And also the compounding interest issue, episode 53 with Patty Hirsch, who was from Planet Money. He talked all about compound interest, and that's something that every time I learn about it again, it's like I know it, but then I relearn and reread, and he gives examples of just how much money you can save or not save. Anyway, so episode 53, Patty Hirsch, episode 90 with Lap Chi Chu. And now onto those Starbucks reward. I talking about that refrigerator early, the old refrigerator.
Yes.
Now, my whole life, I'm 34, Nicole's 33. My whole life, there have been loyalty rewards programs, grocery store points and stuff like this. You guys are fairly older than us.
Ooh, say how much.
Who knows how old? Not a year or two older than us. So I'm curious, what have rewards programs looked like in your life? Have they been around the whole time, like Camel's cigarettes? Were they giving you rewards points?
Sam's Club.
And then what was your first rewards point, either credit card or like store card? I'm just curious.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, I've always clipped coupons. Okay, absolutely. That was back when you would get a newspaper, and we would get the newspaper on Sundays, and they had the whole section on coupons, and I would go through that. I would pick up my coupons. Okay, plus this also goes to the fact, because for me, having a food background, I always planned our meals, and so that way I would know then what ingredients I would be using for my meals, and I would go through the coupons. I would pick out the coupons that I needed for those food products that would go for my meals. That was a great savings. And then I would go, like the stores back then would also say have double price for the coupons. So like it was, worth, if it was a 30-cent coupon, it was worth 60 cents.
I remember at Schnucks,
Yes,
which is
yes.
St. Charles, Missouri. People know
Yeah.
that store. On the
Yeah.
windows, it would say double
Coupon
coupons
day.
always.
Yeah.
I remember that
Yeah.
branded in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, every week I would have lots of coupons. I had a little
And we had a coupon drawer. We did.
I did had
I
a book,
remember.
and it was, I had everything organized by category. You can only do that if you know what you're going to be preparing for the week as far as, food. What are you going to use? So that would help me choose the coupons. So that was one big area. Along with that was, so when the girls were born, so of course having diapers, and I would always use Pampers. Pampers had a huge thing with their diapers. If you cut out the little square on the diaper box, and it was worth so many points, 10 points on a box. You could, put that toward things we bought. We actually got
A rocking chair?
a rocking
Or a rocking
horse for the girls. We got
The playpen?
We got the playpen. I mean, we got a lot of neat things through the Pamper points.
Going back, my parents, and I do remember this, they used S&H green stamps.
Yes.
And you would get those,
The books.
But
Right.
that was probably a little before us.
Right. You would lick the
And
stamps,
as far
put
as
them in the book.
credit cards,
Yeah.
when credit cards really started coming, not store credit cards, but I mean like the Discovers and the MasterCards and the American Express. American Express were kind of like the first ones, and you had to pay an annual fee. And I still know you have to do that sometimes to that, but I always had a problem with paying an annual fee to use a card that they made percentage of my money, on every purchase. So when Discover came out, they offered a 1%, and so and that was
Yeah.
originally Sears. Believe
Right,
it or not.
right, yeah.
Now there's a Harvard study.
Wait. Discover came from Sears?
Same from Sears. I mean, Sears was huge,
Wow.
and there's a Harvard case going back to what a retail store could have been, but how they just destroyed themselves.
Sears
but
is
anyway,
bankrupt now too.
yes,
Yes.
really. But anyway,
Interesting.
and then they sold it
I didn't know
now.
that.
Discover, and so we still have Discover, and we use the 1%.
We use
I
it
know
to
there's
get our
other cards
1%
that
back,
provide.
yeah.
Different, 1%, sometimes 2%, and you can probably look into, and there's different ways they work. We probably don't go that far enough to really. I know you had an episode on last week, I believe it was.
Episode 99 with John Adcock's all about
But
credit card
and
rewards.
that, that's again, if you were to convert it back to earlier in the, our days, that was the coupon king, where they would, someone would go in the store and actually get money back after they bought their groceries. But that's the same type of thing, and you can look at that. We probably don't go that far, but we do look at points, and we're careful. Some of the, going back to the Starbucks, we tend to use that because they have these deals. We can talk more about that in a little bit, but we do look at what we can get back by purchasing
and if
things.
there's any place that has like a punch card, we'll get our card punch, like that restaurant on Main Street, Matias. Okay, so we just finished our punch card. It took us 2 years, but we got the card punched.
But like with Discover,
Every time and we would use cash to pay for our meals, and that's the only way you could get a punch on your card is if you paid cash. So
Even now, right now in
even
2022.
now, yes.
and even like going back to again, you can use other credit cards, but you kind of go back to Starbucks and you can do this obviously other than Starbucks is that you can reload your card, your Starbucks card, by Discover, so I get the 1% on that, and then I can go through whatever deals they have with the stars, and we can talk more
Like
about
our double
that.
star day.
Well, I remember John Adcock's. It's now clicking a little bit more with me. So episode 99, he was saying, you want to make sure you're getting as many points as possible. And then when you reverse and you spend those points, you want to make sure those are getting as much value as possible.
Exactly.
And I'm now thinking, okay, let's say you have Discover 1% back. So you buy a $100 Starbucks gift card with that. You're getting 1% back on that $100.
Right.
Then when you spend it at Starbucks, you're getting 1 point per dollar or something
2
there.
stars per
Depends on
dollar.
if it-
Yeah,
if
they have
it-
a special double
Star
star
Day.
Double Star Day
After
will
a
go
certain
on Double
time,
Star
yeah,
Day.
yeah.
Yes.
But ostensibly you're getting 2% by doing it that way because you're getting 1% from Discover.
Yeah,
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 and
that's
that's right.
right.
So you are again
Right.
stacking up like your other
Right,
guest was talking
right.
about. You can stack them together.
Right.
Yeah.
Stacking. That word is now such cool. I didn't know that word. Stacking. Everyone's saying stacking.
And then when you get your free coffee, you don't just get a plain old coffee. You get it with extra.
Yeah, you put the extra shots in.
You
You get it the biggest thing you can get with those
Exactly.
points.
That's right.
Yep.
And going back to coffee is like you go how much per ounce? How much are you paying per
Yes.
ounce? Because they
Yes.
still have you bring a reusable cup and you get a
Right.
discount.
Right.
But if you actually add up how much that cup holds versus what you're paying, it's cheaper to buy the venti.
And we haven't even talked about the strategy with light ice or no ice.
Right,
Put your own ice in.
That's right. That's right.
And no cream whip.
Yeah.
That's right.
Talk about strategy and stacking.
Exactly. When we get a venti sized coffee, it lasts us 2 days. So and we never drink it in one day.
Wait, sorry. A lot of things were said, and I sort of zoned out. Did you guys just say you can take your own cup to Starbucks?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, they did stop that during the pandemic, but they started back up again. They had a day
where you could buy and get,
or you could get one, and
cup.
I remember it was so popular, I waited for almost an hour and a half to get
And
our
we got our
cups.
free cup.
And then I started calculating out, wait a minute, this doesn't hold as much as a venti.
Yeah.
And then, even though they gave me $1, whatever it was, discount, it was still more per ounce when I got
So we
used the
stopped
cup.
using the cup that we had
Yeah.
waited in line to get instead. So we get the venti size, which is a larger size that lasts us really for two days worth of coffee.
Okay, this is just new to me. So wait, you had to buy their cup to get refilled. You couldn't
Well, we
take...
didn't buy it.
Well, you can buy it,
But
but
we
there was a
didn't.
day they would have once a year, maybe twice a year, where you would come
It
in
was
and they
free.
would give you a
Yes.
cup when you bought.
And it was
Got
like
it.
a plastic cup,
But
not...
you see them there.
So I
One
can't
of
walk
these.
in with my thermos.
No,
No,
it had to be
no.
reusable.
It's a reusable
and
cup,
that's their
yeah.
cup.
Yeah.
But I think actually now you say that there was recently where you could bring in your own reusable cup, and I don't remember. I didn't pay attention to it.
yeah.
But
It
was
must have
something
to
Probably on
clarify
Earth
like
Day or something.
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
ounces are.
Yeah,
or
I didn't pay
something.
really.
But
pay
how did
attention.
you figure out that the cup that they gave you wasn't as much as? Did you measure it out? How did
I
you?
did.
Yes, he did.
Did you put a spreadsheet? Where's the spreadsheet?
He put it
with
in
the
a
measurements.
in a measuring cup, a liquid measuring cup, and you could tell
And then
per ounce it
and
was.
then I calculated the amount of money that they saved, and it
expensive.
Now, if you're getting less than a venti, but if you're going to get a venti, it's that's why we always get the venti because it's
exactly.
cheaper per
It's
ounce.
cheaper per ounce. Always get the larger size.
Okay, this is a broad question here. So I know that Nicole has a Starbucks app. I'm linked to it so that if I ever order her Starbucks, she gets the points for that.
Yes.
And I know that those points add up, and eventually she says, "Oh, I have points to use, so I'm going to use my points today."
Well, we share an account just like
Right.
you guys do, and you don't have to. The only thing I think we miss from that is
Well, the
Birthday
reason,
drink.
a birthday drink.
Yeah.
yeah, but the reason we share our points is because, like if you need 4 purchases to get
Right.
your points, between the two of us, already we've gotten 2 purchases. Just we each purchase something separate, and it goes on our account.
Now the thing is sometimes you got to
So
be
it adds up
careful with
quickly.
that because if you just like order two orders on one transaction, that may not count.
It only is one transaction.
So now again, sometimes it does. It depends on what they're doing. So we just always order
Separately. And it goes-
even though we have the same app. So it gets 2 transactions back to back.
So that way we have, if
We're
you need 4
we're guaranteed
transactions,
to get the transactions.
we order separately. So it's a one complete transaction I'll do, and he'll do one transaction, but it goes to the same account.
Do you wait for a special, like extra 50 points, right? You wait until you get a notification. There's a
If we're
special
gonna
coming
do
up.
more
and
than
then-
one
Well, they
transaction.
usually always have something going on,
True.
and
Every
sometimes
week, yeah.
now what they'll do is like, and I'm probably making some of this up. Like so they say, okay, if you order 3 drinks in a week,
Mm-hmm.
you get 25 points, and then you look, oh, you order a 4th drink, you get 50, but you order 5 drinks, you get 75. so.
So
Again, for the 2 of them.
yeah.
So again, that's why again, if you
we don't do that
combine
very
if you
often, but-
combine share it, then you
Yeah.
don't have to get 10 drinks. You can only get 5 or
Yeah.
whatever you want to choose to
Yeah.
do. And then of course, then we get wrapped up into it. It's like, oh wait, all we need is one more drink. We get another
We get
25
75
So
yeah. But then also you have double star days, and for some, they know that we usually get our coffee on Tuesdays, and our double star day, is always seems to be on a Tuesday.
yeah, I think they
So
know.
So I think they know. So
Now, I would be interested to know, do you guys get coffee on Tuesdays,
Yes.
and therefore Starbucks said this is your points day? Or
I know.
did
I think it's-
Starbucks
I think
say it's Tuesdays, and you guys have morphed your life into getting coffee on
no,
Tuesdays?
no.
Well, actually, I
No,
think
we've
it's more
always-
coincidental, but you couldn't probably
know.
twist it to
I
that.
think no. We usually get on Tuesdays after we do our volunteer work. We all go over and get our coffee. So
But sometimes it's after 3
It's-
or something like that. So
or before 11.
We'll have to test it out if anyone else in another account, they also get the Double Star Tuesday, or is it just tied to them because they know that you visit on
On a Tuesday.
The analytics, where are the
Right,
analytics?
Now, I won't.
You need to use your Boeing government database to go behind the
Yeah.
scenes. of
Yeah,
this.
Now I
I
won't
don't know how they do
say
that.
I won't say that we've never made a special trip after 3 o'clock to get the double points.
You have not done that.
I won't say I've never done that, but I won't say that I have done it.
They can neither confirm nor deny. But the whole fridge, I have gone to visit them, stay in their house, and you open the fridge, and there are like several Starbucks cups in the fridge
With the dates on them.
with the dates on them.
That's true.
Now you want to know where Nicole gets her needing this from. Arlene's got to have.
Oh, yes.
When they give us you pick it up, she's got to now turn the holder for heat. What is that called?
The sleeve.
The sleeve. So it faces with the face of the Starbucks lady.
Yes.
And then she's got to take the top off
Lines
and
it up
line the
with
hole
the
up.
hole
It's like
for the yes.
Because the coffee
That's
tastes
right,
better when it's
yeah.
lined
It's
up.
like-
It
Yes.
just does.
so. What I'll do is I'll move the sleeve when she gets in the refrigerator just to see what she does.
See, like that should be moved so that
Yeah, I see. So it's right over
exactly.
it. But it's harder to
Anyway,
All
sorry.
right,
There you go.
we've segued into marital
Yeah.
arguments here. Okay, so I should have prefaced the conversation with, we're talking about Starbucks points today because we have heard a couple stories from these lovely human beings here with us, things that Nicole and I would consider ridiculous. Actions taken when they say...
extreme actions out of the way.
Just for example, this is fictional, but, something like this could have happened. We'd be on the phone, and then suddenly, sorry, we got to go. It's triple point day. We got to run there before it closes at, 6 p.m. We got to get our coffee. So my question for you is, I happen to know a lot of ridiculous stories from you regarding these Starbucks points maximization data charts. What is the most ridiculous one that you will admit to?
Admit?
Yes. Where you ended up with somehow 5 separate purchases you had to go back in because of some reason.
Well, I can bring up one that I'm thinking of. You ended up in 1 week, maybe even in 2 days, you ended up with like 6 coffees.
Yes.
That were all ventis or something.
yes.
And you were trying to explain to us that this was normal behavior and rational and...
And all the points
It was
they
all
got.
about the stars.
It's all about the stars. Double yes.
So, off the top of your head, what is one that you can think that, okay, maybe we went a little too far?
Too far?
Oh no.
Oh,
No, well that's never occurred.
Well, think about the points. If you monetize the points you're getting, the gas that you're driving to go back and forth.
No. I bet there's a spreadsheet for that.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
We usually only do it if we're out. I mean, we don't
Usually.
Usually. Let's talk about a time that wasn't pretty usual.
The
I think
good
there
thing
was
about
5.
this one, that one was, okay, we ended up with 6. But
Yeah.
going back to Nicole's question a while ago about the cold versus the ice versus...
Yes.
So if you're getting the coffee,
Yes.
one, we never get the whip because they always put more in. If you get the whip, they'll put less coffee in there for the room for the
and
whip.
not iced.
And then if you get
Really.
the ice, they
It
float it
dilutes
with
the
ice.
coffee,
So we always get, like we went back and we got...
We'll get hot.
Cold, or
We get
hot or
hot.
cold without ice. And then we put that in the refrigerator and we ice it
And
ourselves.
also, once
But we get more coffee.
Once we start drinking it, we top it off with chocolate milk. And that extends it.
But the chocolate milk is not from Starbucks. That is
No.
separate.
No, but that makes it. Hey, that makes
Stretch
it
it
last
out.
2 days.
If anybody knows Arrested Development, there's the character of Carl Weathers.
No.
Yes.
He was always giving Tobias like acting tips on like how to save a piece of ham and make a soup out of it. That's what the adding chocolate milk to extend the coffee by a week. Like, we have to make it to next month's Star Day.
So add in the chocolate milk.
Well, actually, we got into chocolate milk because when you run, chocolate milk is a good drink to have as a recovery drink. So we really got into drinking chocolate milk after that. But then we had the chocolate milk, and we're like, hey, Dad likes it better than cream, actually.
Well, okay, we're
for
usually
his
getting
coffee
mocha.
now. He doesn't drink
the mocha
cream.
flavor,
Which already has chocolate in it,
We're not like
yes.
putting into some,
Exactly.
Yeah,
We
so it's
usually
usually
get-
a mocha
we
drink.
usually
Good
get-
clarification.
That's right. We usually get cafe mochas.
So after some extensive research with just the regular computer here, the Starbucks Day doesn't seem to be Tuesday necessarily. It's once a month, and you collect 4 stars for every $1 spent.
Oh, is that, I've never
Double
looked that up.
double stars.
That's what it's called, double star
Okay.
day.
It's double star
So I
day.
guess you get
okay.
2
You get
stars
two-
on a normal?
Yes, there's
Oh.
2 stars for
And you need
every-
150. Well, you can 150 get a full drink, but you can use them. Actually, this is going to sound bad. All these years we've been using it, but we just realized you don't have to. You can just use 25 points. Maybe 175 points have to be used up before because they do expire. And so, like for June example, I think we got 80 some points to use before June 2nd.
Yeah.
If we have to buy one drink, that's 150. So then we go into the next expiration. You don't have to use.
I mean, like we try to keep. We have like over 1,000 points
Oh my god.
Oh, I can confirm. I see it. Now, how do you know?
1,369.
at this point.
But they don't.
We have 2 days left.
So
to get
we're recording
25
this
more
on May
points.
22nd, 2022. You have to use these points by
In
June
two days?
not all of them. No,
Okay.
by June 2nd. So 10
Now,
days.
how does the expiration
Okay,
work?
It shows up down
That's a
here.
good question.
And it
Yeah,
says
because
We
I
did
don't
look it
know
up one
how it
time.
works.
stars expiring soon. By June 2nd, we have to use 83.4 points.
Like
So
here-
walk us through. So you're on the main Starbucks. It shows you your points. Now, how did you get to this?
You know, I
You
did.
scroll down
First of all,
and
I
it'll
don't.
tell
You have to
you.
look it up, but I kind of vaguely remember. It's like I think they last for 6 months. I think. So, for example, we have
Right.
83.4 used by June 2nd, and
Yeah.
then 107.5 used by
And
July 2nd.
I don't know how they decide. You know, like
I
one
think
month
it's
is more points
yeah,
than
and
another. So
I'm not,
it's just
I think it's 6
random.
months or
So I
something
don't
like
know
that.
how
So
that's-
we could go ahead and get a drink for 150, but then it cuts into
Then it
our
will come
July.
cut
But that's
into
okay
July
because we still
points.
don't have enough in July to buy a full drink anyway.
Right.
So we might as well combine them. But in August we get 292, which isn't quite enough for 2 drinks.
I mean, this is a whole
And I don't
thing.
know how they decide. You know, how many stars per month you
Yeah.
expire.
But you just don't want to lose
So
them.
Let's say you stopped paying cash for anything and you just used your points up.
right.
How many drinks would
Well,
you
divide
get out of
that.
Depends on what kind of
divide-
drinks you get, though.
No,
No.
no.
it? It's like Hyatt
Well-
Rewards. It's 30,000 points
So
per night.
what's
or
150
25,000.
into 13?
No
So
matter
it doesn't
what the
matter.
cost
What,
of
it
the
doesn't
room
matter
is.
what drink you get.
So
it's the same points.
1369.
You're telling me that like a venti, like Frappuccino, will use up the same amount of points as a
I
tall.
believe, right,
Yep.
it's considered
Really?
a drink.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
why.
okay. See,
That's why
that's
you always want to
interesting.
get like a venti
As
size,
big as you can.
add espresso, add everything to it.
Maximize the value right here.
Right,
Wow.
exactly.
Talking 9. We're about a little over 9 drinks.
He
Yeah.
pulled out the calculator, so just so a visual.
Okay, and how much Starbucks are you drinking a week? 4 cups a week?
No,
2 cups a week?
2.
How many
Two
per
ventis.
day?
Now,
So
okay.
you
No,
could
no,
go
no.
a month here.
Okay.
2 ventis.
Okay, we're just talking
A week.
Starbucks, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
just Starbucks. Just
Starbucks.
Two drinks a week.
Unless there's a deal.
And because
And
they're
it-
points, these
And
would
they
be
have
ventis.
deals though every week.
Yeah.
Right. So it's 2
Yeah.
drinks a week, but we stretch it out so each drink lasts us 2 days.
Well, for example, what we're planning on doing, we already got 2 down. We have 4 drinks we had to get by tomorrow.
So we're gonna get 2 more.
So probably in the airport tomorrow we'll get 2 more.
2 more Starbucks.
So that would
probably.
be for a week. That would be 4.
Okay.
Because then Tuesday we'll probably get 2 more.
Yeah, the Tuesday we probably get 2 more because that's our double.
But they
study
usually have
probably.
something coming up on Tuesday anyway,
It'll
so we'll
probably
see.
be, yeah.
Anybody that's listened to multiple episodes knows I have an aversion for points and point systems and point cards. And I would just like to use these fine folks as an example of what I'm afraid I'll turn into. Because I know you're not saying it doesn't change your behavior, but this is why I'm afraid of credit card points. Because it's like, I don't want to be like, oh, I need to buy
yeah.
You get
4
sucked
airline
into the
tickets
system.
now. I do want to say also, when I looked up the double star points,
Yes.
they gave an example on this website and said, this would be a great idea to grab the entire office coffee on your Starbucks day. So it's really good that you guys are not working now
Yeah.
and not tempted to buy the entire office. Like, oh, it's doubles points day. I'm going to spend $800 for
No.
coffee.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's true.
No.
I mean, I guess we're kind of a little overboard with the Starbucks, but we don't do that with anything else, really. I mean, you could.
All right, okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Is there anything we missed about points or credit cards or
Coupons.
or something?
Never run a credit on your credit card. Don't pay it off. Pay off. Don't buy it if you can't pay it off. Use
At
it.
the end of the month.
You can use
Yeah,
it, and you
right.
can use this float, which is great.
Yeah.
And then you can, if you time it right, you can actually have 2 months, almost 2 months before you pay. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have the money, don't buy it.
I will actually say about Starbucks and Taco Bell rewards, in a way, there's no way to run credit on them because you have to pay it off then, or you have to load a card, which is already prepaid.
Now, see, that's where they kind of make their money too, because they keep you. They have your money. They're making interest on your money. You're not.
This is true. Dunkin', especially, they like you to have a card on file. So they would rather you reload like $100 at a time versus using your credit card like
Every
10
purchase.
different times every
Now,
purchase. Yeah.
sometimes once in a while with Starbucks, they'll have a deal where if you load X on your card, you
right.
get points.
Right.
You'll get
$100
stars. You'll
onto
get
your
stars.
Card, yeah, you get points.
Now you have to read carefully because it did fool me because I read it to say, oh, I thought every time I loaded it, if I did it today, today you loaded on 25 points or $25, you'll get 25 points or stars. And I misread it thinking that I could do multiple loads on it, reloading multiple times. I could get up. They're too smart. They went ahead and accepted, of course, when I reloaded another 25 to get to 50, but I only got 25 points. So
That's interesting because I was wondering that about your linked accounts, and that's why Nicole and I have separate Dunkin' accounts, is because if there's a day where
Yes,
you get a free
that
medium
is
coffee, we get 2 free medium
Yes.
coffees. You guys would only get 1 free medium
yes, that is
coffee,
true.
right?
And then you could have done it on 2 accounts and gotten 50 stars instead of 25.
So
That is
you're
true.
just as clever. And
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
not
That's a
just
good point.
us. You guys are very savvy with your points too.
They're hiding in the closet
So
here.
there you go. Don't let them fool you. They are into points too.
No.
It's
Yeah.
true.
It is true.
It
There's
is.
strategy to it.
Yes,
That's kind of
yeah.
a game. It is.
You
kind
both
of.
have it
It's
pretty
horrible.
well under wraps too.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so I'm going to wrap this up. And this is a question for Nicole. Because it's Father's Day, and this is our special Father's Day episode, what is your favorite memory of you and your dad?
Oh.
There's a lot of good ones. I will say often when mom was out for the evening, teaching a class or whatever, my sister and I would be home with dad, and that's where all the fun was. We'd turn the lights off and play the loud music, Rebel Yell, Billy
Idol.
Billy Idol,
Your favorite
okay.
song.
And then also, that's when we would go and explore all the best burger joints.
Yeah, we did that at one time.
We go to
Yeah,
Sonic,
yeah.
Five Guys, all that.
What?
When mom's away, that's where we get to
You would
have
be up
our...
you would be up home.
Well, he wouldn't be cooking. That's
Exactly.
true.
So
Yeah.
those were fun times. And then,
Yeah.
not a member, but we both really like nice cars. So one of these days, we're going to get matching red convertibles. It's got to be red
yes,
convertibles.
yes,
I
yes.
want a 2-seater, but Dad's thinking about a 4-seater. So I
That's
like,
true. That's true.
So we're gonna make that happen. That's a future memory to be had.
Future
And
memory.
then we'll be in the convertibles playing Rebel Yell at full blast,
Full blast.
top down.
That's right.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
And also, thank you guys for doing
Yes.
this
Thank you.
Oh,
ridiculous
it's
recording.
Yeah, I know. Whenever we talk to you guys, we're always laughing about it. What we did this time with the
Well,
Starbucks.
always love
Wait.
to come up and visit. And
Oh, it's been
you
a
guys
great
have been
visit.
Good host and hostess.
That's
And
funny.
we
Yeah.
always have a wonderful time when we're here. So.
All right.
Yep, they're the
Well,
best.
Yeah, thanks a
All right.
million. Thanks to Starbucks for
Yay!
That's it for this week's episode. A couple clarifications. Arlene mentioned that she has a food background. She majored in dietetics and was a dietitian at McDonnell Douglas. Arlene also mentions the girls, and that's meaning Nicole and her sister. She has one sibling. Nicole mentioned a St. Louis-based grocery chain called Schnucks. So this week, that actually made the list of top U.S. managed companies by Deloitte and the Wall Street Journal. Now, I did want to add something that I forgot to mention, and this is very important, but maybe not well known, that you can only build or use points in standalone locations. So if you visit a Starbucks that's located in an airport or in a Target or a Barnes & Noble, you might not be able to build or redeem points. And you might not be able to use a gift card either. Now, don't trust me entirely, and certainly try to use your rewards when you're in those locations. But this isn't just a Starbucks thing. This applies to a lot of restaurants. So when I was in college, I remember I once found a Burger King in an airport because I had a gift card. And then I ordered and they said, oh, you can't use the gift card because this is an airport location. Another thing about Starbucks rewards, if you buy ground coffee, let's say in the grocery store, and you purchase Starbucks brand, sometimes those coffees come with a code to earn 1 to 10 stars. And the way you know that is there's a stamp on the front that says My Starbucks Rewards, and it'll show you the number of stars that you can earn. Now, another thing to mention is the birthday treat. Now, I don't drink Starbucks. However, I signed up for the rewards program, so that way Nicole can get a free drink on my birthday. And by the way, if you aren't a coffee drinker, not a problem. Every birthday, that free menu item can be redeemed for food as well. And if you aren't familiar with the food menu, check it out because they have some decent things, including fruit trays and sandwiches. Signing up for the rewards program is a point that John Adcox made about credit card rewards back in episode 99. He said to sign up for every store program, even if you think you're never going to use it, just sign up so that you have the option. Which also factors into the free refill policy at Starbucks because you can only get a free refill if you're a Starbucks Rewards member. Additionally, the free refill only applies at participating locations, aka it might not work at airports or the kiosks inside grocery stores. It also only applies if you stay inside the Starbucks. It doesn't work if you grab and go or you're using the drive-thru. It's only for those crazy few people who actually stay inside the store to enjoy their coffee. And the refill only applies for hot or iced coffee or tea. Lemonade isn't an option, but, and here's a hack, if you order any drink, like a latte or a macchiato, you can still get the refill of coffee or tea. During the interview, we mentioned a refillable cup, so I looked it up, and starting on Earth Day this year, Starbucks made it so that you can put your coffee into a personal container. Now, it can't be larger than the largest menu size for that item, so that's 20 ounces for a hot and 30 ounces for a cold beverage. Doing that, you save 10 cents on the purchase, and you get 25 stars. For points and stars, that's not amazing, but the winner in this situation is the planet. A caveat is that you're only able to do that in store. You can't use a reusable mug for a mobile order or a drive-thru order. So now that's everything about Starbucks rewards I know to share with you. My takeaways from Nicole's parents are: when you earn your free drink, make it as large as possible. Don't unsubscribe from the Starbucks emails. They're useful in telling you how to get extra points. And the final takeaway is that Double Points Day happens once a month. And since I'm not a Starbucks drinker, I didn't even know that was a thing. Now, these points games are hilarious, and this episode was just for fun, but this hacking of the system is actually a way to get a good bang for your buck. Your Starbucks, that is. Anyway, Starbucks wins, yes, but you, the consumer, also win. A couple other takeaways are pretty obvious, and one is that parents love their children. So we all have a different relationship with our family, the ups and downs, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you're a parent, your child is going to learn financial habits from watching you. Now, Greg mentioned age and being able to look back and say, finances are easy. Well, yes, they are simple, but being disciplined and dealing with the day-to-day life is not easy. So financial wellness, just like physical fitness, is a constant game. So at age 34, I have this dream that in retirement, I'm just going to withdraw my 4% and live happily ever after. But seeing my in-laws and my parents being aware of their finances, I can see that I'll have to be as organized then as I am now. And that retirement isn't just one lump sum. It's a combination of Social Security, retirement accounts, brokerage, and of course, hacking the coffee shop. And now I'd like to make a clarification to episode 99 about credit card rewards with John Adcox. In that episode, I priced out a Hyatt hotel using points that I transferred from our credit card. Now, I wasn't sure what the taxes and fees would be each night because it wasn't clear on the website, but John reached out to clarify that when you use Hyatt points, there are no taxes or fees. The stay is indeed free, and if the Hyatt owns a parking garage, you'll get access to that also for free. Now, that's different than the airlines, where you can use points to pay for the fare, but you're still going to have to pay taxes and fees, so the flight is not completely free. Today's episode was not a hard-hitting topic, but did you have fun? Did you relate to it? Or is it possible that you learned something? If so, let me know. Email me at artisticfinancepodcast@gmail.com. Those emails come directly to me, and I read and respond to every single one. I'd absolutely love to hear from you about anything. Now, patrons, there is a very short bonus episode this week. Nicole and I talking about Taco Bell and how I got my birthday reward this year. If anybody else would like to join us on Patreon, we would very much appreciate the monthly support. Become a patron by going to patreon.com/artisticfinance. And my last tip for the day, for Father's Day, consider using your Starbucks points to get your father a coffee. Or better yet, get your father an Artistic Finance coffee mug, which he can use every day. Let's end this episode with another dad joke from my cousin. Here it is. You know what's really odd? Numbers not divisible by 2. That joke was so bad, I can't even. That's it for today. Until next week, break a leg.
Thank you for listening to Artistic Finance. Make sure to subscribe. To access our show notes, transcripts, or resources, go to artisticfinance.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any decision, consult a professional. This show is copyrighted by Artistic Finance. Written permission must be granted before syndication or rebroadcasting.